Hello everyone.
Welcome back to the Obituary Stories.
In today's podcast, we are going to talk about how we can teach empathy.
Yeah, I find it so hard to teach empathy because most people think that we are either born with it or not. You know how they said that empathy is an innate trait. But I refuse to believe in that because I feel that empathy can actually be practiced and developed in children.
And the younger you start, the better.
Yeah, and even as adults, because some people are not very empathetic, right? Let's be honest. Yeah. So I feel like developing empathy also comes with exposure and experiences. So obviously, the more negative experiences that you've encountered, the more empathetic you become. I think also because we learn it the hard way, and so we know we can empathize with others because we've been through the tough times and the negative experiences. Yeah. So, and of course, because in life there are a lot of things that we can't control, and I feel like in life I've gone through a lot more negative things than positive ones. I don't know if it's the same for you. And a lot of the times, those negative experiences are something that we can't control. We can't control the experiences, but I've learned that we can control how we respond to those experiences.
Right, and responding well is one of the things that I wish I learned earlier, so that in any case, any situation, I'm more equipped to deal with things in tough times.
Yeah. And so, since we're talking about children and how we can teach them empathy, I feel like as an educator myself, we need to be able to let children go through and experience those experiences on their own to develop empathy. And in fact, really letting children own their emotional experiences, however negative they are. Because I think what we can do as educators or even as parents is to really support them in their emotional journey and processing with them.
Right.
Yeah.
So let's talk about how we can develop empathy. And to empathize with people, I think first and foremost, we have to recognize the emotions, recognize whether they're feeling sad, angry, disgusted, put a label to their emotions. And number two, just simply by accepting their emotions. Now, many of us sometimes cannot even accept our own emotions. Sometimes we are in denial. Sometimes I'm denying that I'm angry or sad. But if we can even accept our own emotions, then only we can accept others. And there are times when I feel very upset, and usually I have a technique which I'll talk about later. So first and foremost, we need to accept our own emotions as well as theirs, and then also process them without challenging them, without denying the emotions, without ignoring their emotions, and just being there with their emotions. The preposition is with their emotions. So by staying there with their emotions, we can feel their heart, we can feel their soul, we can feel their tears. Just feel it. It's uncomfortable at times for some of us. Maybe it's uncomfortable to sit with a negative emotion. But the longer we sit with it, the more we feel it, the more we can empathize with that person without saying a word. And then we get to ourselves empathize with our own sadness, our own tears, our own anger. So when we are there for someone else, we're also there for ourselves. And inevitably, we do ourselves a favor.
Yeah. So, and I think it's important for children to know that whatever they're feeling or whatever they're experiencing is valid, and really just accepting and sitting with them with the feelings they are experiencing.
Yeah, without judging their feelings at all.
Correct. So how exactly can we process emotions with our children to develop empathy in themselves and others?
Let's find out.
By communicating feelings inside and outside, we can help children expand their emotional range. Firstly, we can look at the two types of feelings: inside feelings and outside feelings. So for example, let's say I am very angry. Not only am I feeling very angry, it could be that I am also frustrated. I am also very annoyed. I am also full of hate. But at the same time, I can also be fly into a rage and also feeling very irritated. So these are the outside feelings that we can see when someone's acting out. But oftentimes, what we don't see are some of the emotions that are hidden during a conflict. And this could also be some of the possible reasons why children are acting out. So it could be that I am embarrassed, I am feeling hurt, I am feeling self-conscious, insecure, anxious, regretful, betrayed by someone, or even being humiliated by someone, or afraid of losing someone dear to us, or maybe even feeling inferior because someone is better than us. Or it could be that we are jealous, guilty for doing something that we shouldn't have done. So these are some of the inside feelings that no one knows about, but we express them out outwardly by shouting at someone, by hating someone, by being annoyed at someone. So how do you process your emotions, Joyce?
Well, for me, it's a very simple process of journal writing. It's a 3-step process. So the first step is mainly to write down how I'm feeling for that day, why I feel this way, how did I end up feeling this way, and what situation I was in, who I was involved with, where it happened, and so on. So basically, these are just stating facts and my feelings. And this first part of the process is naturally very, very healing itself because it gives me an awareness of how I got here in the first place and what the circumstances were. Was I feeling very moody that morning, or did I have a bad sleep the previous night? And so it gives me a better understanding and context. And then the second part of journal writing is to allow yourself to let your head and heart connect. So when I write, my logical thoughts flow in as well because the brain is full of logical reasoning. It allows me to write down why I feel this way, what someone said that could have hurt me, and naturally my feelings will come into play as well. So the heart and head gets to meet at this point. And then later on, when people ask me, hey, you seem down, or what's wrong, why you feel this way, I can later on tell them why I felt that certain way because my heart and my head were aligned and they could logically reason out the feelings. And the third part of journal writing is to write down how actually I can find a way out of the situation, but through finding a solution. So by finding a solution, by writing, you've actually create a form of way out because you start to realize that maybe, hey, if I didn't do XYZ, I wouldn't have ended up in this ABC situation. And then your brain starts to light up. It's like a form of enlightenment. And you start to realize, oh, okay, next time I don't do this, then this result or this outcome will be different. So you start to realize that you can actually control and start to respond differently the next time round. And this response is very important because it allows us to take a step back and go, oh, now I see it, now I won't repeat it, now I won't do that again. It makes us wiser and more mature people and prevents us from falling into that same vicious cycle. But not many people actually want to journal write or take the time to do that. So I think it's a great way for me to force myself to journal write. Just sit down, give myself that 10 minutes or 15 minutes, just process the hard emotions. Because when I do that, I start to realize, wow, Joyce is actually full of ideas. She can actually overcome her situation.
Yeah.
It's magical.
Yeah, and it helps you to gain emotional clarity and some sort of closure as well. Every time a negative experience were to occur and to happen to us.
Right. Yeah, emotional clarity is so understated. And I think many of us don't even realize it because we are always hustling.
Yeah.
Especially in Singapore, where we are just on to the next task. We don't allow ourselves that room to breathe, to reflect,
To sit with our feelings.
to sit with our
Yeah.
feelings. That's the word, to empathize with our own self.
Yeah.
So have some compassion on your own heart and your own soul. Just give yourself that time. Just block out any other activities that come after that hard moment.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's not gonna hurt you. Actually, it's gonna help you in the long run. Okay, so with that said,
Yeah, so I think apart from having an emotional journal, I think having a gratitude journal is also important.
yes,
Because I think, because like what Joyce mentioned, we hustle so hard and we work so hard and then we come home so tired. Sometimes we cannot even remember a single moment of gratitude that we had that day. It could just be a very simple coffee chat with a colleague who asked you how you've been, and then or like even someone doing you a really, really, really small gesture, a very kind gesture of like just giving you a sweet or chocolate bar and leaving it on your table. I think it's all these simplest acts of gestures that we sometimes don't think much about. But honestly, I think there's a lot to be thankful for in our lives. So
Yep.
I hope that we remain optimistic as well. Like no matter how hard something how we are going through
a difficult time.
difficult times, that it's important to sometimes just slow down, ask ourselves how we're feeling, and go slow. Sometimes that's all we need.
Yeah, compassion towards ourselves is compassion towards others. And
Yeah.
I think, we should start something interesting. Shall we start an emotional journal project
Yeah, stay tuned.
to find out more?
Yes.
See you.
Bye bye.